I used to struggle with my fitness, my finances, my mental health, and pretty much every area of my life. And then I identified the reason why I then eventually became successful is because I killed these 10 habits and I quit doing them. And what I'm going to do is break down exactly what they are step by step, made a full list of 10 of them. And the most powerful one is probably the first one I'm going through. And I don't know if this hits and this resonates. And that is every single day, quit doing things you regret. Because ultimately, whether it's you eating the extra piece of cake, whether it's you sending the inappropriate message you shouldn't do, whether it's you not doing the work you shouldn't do, whether it's you not getting up in the morning, every single day, every single moment, there's probably something you have done that you regret. There is something today you know that you regret. Maybe you didn't do the extra rep in the gym. Maybe you didn't get up when you're supposed to. Maybe you didn't track your nutrition properly. But I can actually think right now, I regret last night I did not take my supplements, my peptides properly because I couldn't be bothered. So that's something that weighs in my mind that, okay, I didn't do this thing. And it's a slight knock on my confidence because I didn't see something through the ability I have. So the most important thing you want to do is you want to quit doing things that you regret because that's going to lead you to more of the things you actually want in life and ultimately help you build more confidence. So what I'd like you to ask is to think, what is the number one regret of the thing you are doing every single day? Drop it in the comments as a way to stop you doing this because you know what this is doing and this is you consciously making a choice. And this is where you have to actually like rewire the way you're thinking every day and rewire your subconscious mind to stop doing that. And this is ultimately what we're going to talk about is changing habits. Second thing is quit escaping your life to alcohols, to parties, to drugs. When I went through a phase maybe from like 18 to 24 where I used to drink for a weekend, I used to get annihilated, I get paralytically drunk, do recreational drugs. And a lot of that was me looking for escape from life. And because I didn't know what I wanted and what do all of these things do? They give you instant dopamine to your brain. So that feel good factor. But that literally is like robbing Peter to pay Paul because essentially what's happening is you are taking your happiness from tomorrow and pulling it forward to today and then tomorrow's going to suck. And that's why, again, tomorrow you will wake up and you will regret the things you've done. And you're probably watching, listening to this video thinking, yeah, I remember some things I've regretted I've done when I was drunk, when I was intoxicated. And I remember doing loads of stupid things. Like I used to drink drive loads. I remember climbing across hotel balconies, 30 floors up in Cyprus when I was like 18 on a college trip, like blind drunk. And I look back now in hindsight, I'm like, this is the dumbest things. Like so many things could have gone wrong in that context. And I remember being 17 years old and a friend of mine had a car crash drink driving. He killed his best friend and basically crippled himself. And then also had kind of like brain damage, a load of other issues from it. And he had everything in his life going from that point of view. So don't do anything you regret and also try and pull away alcohol, drugs, all things that aren't going to serve you. Third thing, quit blaming other people. Now, having spent a lot of time over the last few years around people who are very successful and people who are way more successful than me, the number one thing they do is they take ownership. They don't blame the economy, they don't blame the social media algorithms, they don't blame the parents, they don't blame the partner. They take responsibility of everything. And they take responsibility for their finances, their fitness, every area of their life. And ultimately, if something in your life you are trying to do isn't working, then you have to take ownership of that. And I also see this a lot in people's businesses where people maybe blame their employees like, this person sucks. It's like, okay, cool. Well, who hired them? You did. So therefore you suck. And you need to take ownership of that you maybe made a bad choice. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing for you to do, but by you taking ownership, it actually gives you the ability to do the most important thing, which is learn and get life experience. Because the more things you do that don't work, you've almost like eliminated something off the table. So it makes it easier to find out actually what does work, which is why one of the things that I'm a big believer in is that your bank account is a direct reflection in terms of how quickly you do things and how quickly you execute. Because even if you do 100 things and they don't work, eventually you will find the thing that does work. The reality is most people just don't do enough volume to get to the thing that does. They get disheartened and they quit way too soon. Fourth, quit being afraid of taking risks. Everything in life is a risk, but quantify your risks. The real risk is not taking risks, because the reason why most people are stuck in maybe a shitty 9-to-5 job, or maybe you're a personal trainer in a gym and you don't make the money you want, or you're living an existence that's below what you want, is because you weren't willing to maybe step out of the comfort zone of where you are right now. And there's only two reasons why you would never actually push yourself out to where you want to be. One is, let's say you want to build a business. You are going to have to make yourself uncomfortable. You're going to probably feel stupid at times. There's going to be loads of things you don't know. That's going to feel uncomfortable. Number two, there's going to be financial investment, whether you pay someone to teach you or you invest into the business. Those are the only two reasons why you would build a business. Now, those will be the risks involved. But if you look at the risks versus the upside, if it doesn't work, okay, you're basically where you are right now. If it does work, you get exactly what you want, which is why you also have to be very intentional about where are you going, why, and that's also why it's important to think consciously, whereas most people live the same mediocre existence on repeat every single day. But you have a conscious choice to change that by taking a risk. And the reality is most people have the same day in life on repeat from the age of 20 to probably 40 to 50 years old. They turn up the same job, do the same thing. And I lived that life. From 20 to 28, I worked in a corporate job, 9 to 5. And basically, I could tell you my exact routine off the top of my head right now. I can remember the exact food I used to eat. I remember the exact shop I used to go and buy flapjacks. They were banging, by the way. And I remember the exact route I used to go on for a walk at lunch, like the exact same thing every single day. And the experiences I didn't have in my life, because that's 7, 8 years, is wild. And that was actually the real thing that you have to think about. What you're risking is the time you are wasting being stuck where you are right now. So the real risk is not taking risks. Fourth, quit thinking boredom is a bad thing. Now, boredom is actually very important, because if you are trying to do something substantial, it's not going to happen overnight. And let me explain why. Going to the gym is kind of boring after a while. Sticking to your diet is kind of boring after a while. But if you do both of those things and you have the correct plan, the correct guidance, correct advice, do you get the body you want? Yes. So if you have the ability to be bored by doing that and actually have the skill of delayed gratification, you get the body you want. Now, it's the same thing in terms of your business. Why most people get stuck is because they get bored of their business, and essentially the strategy they're trying to execute, maybe they get to a certain point, they get bored and they get red shiny object syndrome, normally because of their phone, that then get pulled to go and do something else. And ultimately, this is where you have to understand that a genius is going to lose when they're distracted, when a busy fool then becomes focused. And you have the ability to do that if you can actually sit in the boredom and just do the right thing over and over and over again and just get better and better. Now, that's a lesson I've had to learn, because I think entrepreneurs have a blend of ADHD and also autism, where they're often very intellectual, but you want to be busy and want to do loads of things. And at the beginning, that can be maybe great, but that will only serve you to a certain part, where essentially at some point you would then have to be more intentional in terms of what you're doing. Next up, quitting instant gratification. So this is where the human body and the brain is instantly looking for dopamine all the time. And like transparently with business, I find that terrible. So what would I look at my phone all the time? Payments coming through, sales calls coming through, leads coming in, like, ooh, how much progress we're making. It could be the same thing in terms of like instant gratification with like, if you're a guy and you're messaging women, do they reply, or people matching on dating apps? I don't know, I haven't used one of these because I'm too old. But that would be some really, really easy examples in terms of instant gratification. Now, if we look in terms of the physical world, that would be fast food, it would be alcohol, it would be drugs, it would be things we spoke about earlier on. Because you also have to understand that patience is huge. So like removing that instant gratification need is massive. 7, quitting trading time for a little bit of money. What you have to understand is that, and I have this breakdown with a lot of entrepreneurs we work with, is that just because you can make money doing something doesn't mean you should do it. So there's a lot of different things you can sell, but the reality is you only have so much time, you only have so much focus. So what you actually want to focus on doing is picking the highest ROI thing you can do with your time, and you can get the highest return financially back for it, and then do that. The reality is what most people do is they create 15 different products, they have 10 different businesses. As soon as someone tells me they have 9 businesses, I'm like, you're an absolute retard. There's someone I know who's a business mentor who says he's got 9 businesses. I'm like, dude, you don't even have one then, because like Elon Musk, I think, has 4 or 5, but like, dude, you're not Elon Musk. The reality is if you want to be successful, you just have one really good business, not multiple. So think about being focused and going down the right avenue and picking the right vehicle is huge. 8 is quit being cheap with learning. So I've spent and racked up close to $500,000 in personal development, self-investment to this point. And I was very, very afraid to do that at the beginning. And I look back now at all of these investments I made over a period of time, and some of them were amazing, some of them were okay. And even the okay ones paid off for themselves 4 or 5-fold. Because the reality is you don't see the immediate ROI of these things straight away. Because it might be the small little thing you learned now that might not be applicable in 2 years is super applicable. And this is also an important thing of like the law of exposure. Once you've seen certain things, you can't unsee them. And this is where like the actual superpower for you to get ahead in life is paying for access to information and direction, and from someone who's done the thing you want to do. And that's something I will continue to do, because essentially that's the shortcut from kind of being broke to being successful, is find the person who's walked the path. They can stop you wasting thousands of hours walking the wrong way. And I get frustrated beyond belief. Listen to a lot of sales calls maybe we have with our own business, where people have these huge limited beliefs of like, oh, I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm like, dude, if you were going to figure it out on your own, you would already have done it. And like, I know that with the things I'm trying to learn that I don't know how to do yet. If I was going to figure it out, I would have done it. I would rather just pay someone who knows the thing, who can then shortcut that time down. And I'm not going to waste weeks and weeks trying to figure it out. So if you are in that position right now, you are trying to figure it out, just actually get the answer, and then save yourself 6 to 12 months of wasted time. And I say wasted time because that's more important, that you understand wasted time is more valuable than you potentially wasting money, because you can actually get money back. You can't get your time back. You can't get the years of your life back. And I say that as someone who's going to be 36 in a couple of months' time, that is something that kind of dawns in my mind. Number 9 is quit distracting yourself with busy work. So stop going on your phone all day. Stop sitting like at your computer thinking you're busy. I see people who say they work 10, 12 hours a day, even some clients who work sometimes. I'm like, okay, what do you do every day? And then show me. It's like, your output is nothing. So remember, it's not about being busy, it's about being effective. Because a lot of people just end up being at their computer and they're doing computer roulette. And hands up, I've been there. You go from like Slack to WhatsApp to maybe we use Notion, maybe into Facebook ads. You're kind of just fucking around doing nothing. And reality is, you want to have a clear, conscious plan of what you're doing, why you're working. And then if you don't actually need to do anything, go and actually live your life and enjoy yourself. Like, that is the whole point of building this. And number 10, quit playing to lose. Because very, very, very few people are actually playing this game to win. And you can see by the people who are playing to win in terms of the actions they take. How aggressive are they in their business? How much are they trying to push the front end of everything they're doing? How much are they constantly trying to learn? How much are they trying to personally level up? How are they trying to level up their network, their finances, the things around them? Whereas most people are hoarding. And what you actually need to do is you need to start betting on yourself. And the people who bet on themselves are the people who win. Because ultimately, if you don't bet on yourself, no one else will ever. And the same thing happened to me. I remember when I bought my Ferrari, was maybe 18 months ago. I transparently went there, and I'm like the easiest person anyone to sell to. So when I went to go look at the car, I was like, okay, cool. I knew I was going to buy it for you. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm going to buy this. And I was like, oh, do you do financing? Because I didn't want to put down $200,000 in cash. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. You can put down 10% deposit and you can finance the rest. I was like, okay, cool. So I transferred whatever the balance was. And then a couple of days later, I found out that I couldn't get financing because I don't have a landline on my business in Dubai. So I was like, okay. So then I just paid for the whole thing cash outright. And that was a vote of confidence in myself that I had the money to do that. And then I could back that. And I also was worthy of doing it, because I am playing to win. I am not playing to lose. Exactly the same in terms of all the investments I made in myself, in terms of my own business, my business skills, where we continuously invest in terms of like AI, new people coming to building systems, all these things. The reality is, you have to play to win and go on offense, because if you don't, you will get left behind, because the people who are playing to win will beat you. And you have to understand, life is player versus player, whether it's in business or whether it's in your personal life. Like, everyone's competing for money, women, status, all these things. And ultimately, it's whether are you playing small to lose, or are you playing to win, which I'll be interested to know. Are you playing to win, or are you playing to lose? In the comments. You took value from the video, make sure you smash the subscribe button and check out the next video on screen right now.